Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Boxeo TM Torres Medina HHF boxing gloves. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Boxeo TM Torres Medina HHF boxing gloves. I got mine in this beautiful frozen Aurora colorway, which is white with a metallic fuchsia. It's almost like a metallic pink and a metallic aqua blue colorway. I got mine in 16 ounces. There's a weight tag at the bottom. In lace up, you can get this glove anywhere between 12 and 16 ounces, as well as several additional colorways, which you could check out on the Boxeo TM website. As usual, I will put the link below in the description box so you can click on that and check out what they have on their website to offer. The glove is made of full, genuine cowhide leather throughout the entire glove, with a combination of horsehair and foam padding over the knuckle area that is medium in density. And like all Boxeo TM gloves, these are handcrafted in Mexico. Now, this is going to be the first time I've used and doing a review on the HHF model in the Boxeo TM glove lineup. HHF essentially means horsehair and foam. I've done reviews in the past of Boxeo TM gloves. I've always loved them, but was really intrigued by the horsehair component with this particular glove. If you guys have seen past videos of mine when it comes to Mexican style gloves, I've always been a big fan of horsehair padding. That's just my own personal preference. Everyone's a little bit different. But I do prefer horsehair just for the fact that it gives it a little bit more of a softer feeling, a little bit more of a conformed flat punching surface compared to, latex or polyurethane style foams, which are good for protection as well. But I do like the pliability of horsehair and the way it forms around my fist, as well as whenever I land a punch, just the feeling that I get from that. So when I knew that Boxeo TM created a horsehair foam version, I knew I had to try these out and do a review on them. So I decided to get this frozen Aurora colorway, which is usually not my typical cup of tea when it comes to colorways. I'm not really big into flashy colorways, but I did think these look really sharp, and it's a glove that, at least colorways wise, I don't have. So I did like kind of that metallic pink or fuchsia, if you want to call it, as well as kind of that aqua blue with white. And you can see from a design standpoint that palm side has kind of a triple stripe. So you have the fuchsia on the left outside, and then that metallic aqua on the inside near the thumb, with the white down the middle. Typically you see a split palm right down the middle. So that's really unique in the fact that they have that. For a 16 ounce glove, size wise, I'd say that these are pretty much on point with other 16 ounce gloves. By when I say that is, they're not too tall, they're not too wide. They're definitely sized correctly compared to some of the larger 16 ounce Mexican made gloves. Years ago I did a review on the 16 ounce Grant gloves, and those things were massive. I felt like even for a regular sized person like myself, 5'8", average size hands and arms, I mean, those things felt gigantic. Even with the hand wraps on, I felt like that was a glove that, Deontay Wilder or AJ or Tyson Fury would use for their training, rather than someone that's average size like myself. So with that being said, I feel like these 16 ounce gloves are a perfect size, kind of similar to the Bayonetta and some of the other more compact Mexican gloves. So I do like the fact that these aren't overly huge and overly bulky. The leather on here is nice and smooth, has a nice satin finish to it. The other cool thing about this glove is that the Torres Medina logo on the back of the glove, it says Torres Medina with the logo in the middle, made in Mexico. Everything's embroidered into the leather. So I think that's really nice. It gives it a really classy high-end feel. The back of the wrist, you do have the triple cuff. The cuff padding on here is a little bit more on the flat side. It's not like a rounded type of padding. It has a little bit more of a flat feel, which I do like as well. You also have a weight tag at the bottom that shows 16 ounces. I do like the quality of the weight tag. I know that's a very small, minuscule thing to talk about, but the weight tag on here is not just like a little cheap piece of nylon. It's actually like, it almost feels like a little piece of leather or like some type of like rubberized material, and it feels a little bit more premium in terms of the quality of this tag. So I do like that tag right there. Something that's worth pointing out, the inside liner, just like the other Boxeo TM liners, is nice and smooth and silky. You have that polyester satin liner on the inside. It is kind of a burgundy colorway. You have white piping throughout. You also notice that, like a lot of other Mexican gloves, this one does have welted seams. So the outside edges, the back of the glove where the back meets the back of the wrist support, on the inside where the thumb is at, all the way to underneath the finger compartment, you have that welted seam throughout. I showed you guys the different colorways. You have that pink fuchsia that's in metallic, as well as the blue. So far, the metallic has held up really well. With this glove, I've really wiped these off. One thing I've been more cognizant of is with my metallic gloves is wiping them clean, because I sweat a ton when I train. Otherwise, the sweat and the moisture will start to eat away at the metallic a lot quicker than it does on the actual solid colors. So you do have that. You have about an inch of medium density padding on both sides of the glove, on both sides of the wrist, should I say, that come up, and about an inch on the back of the wrist. So you have a good amount of wrist support, and that's always been a big feature of Boxeo TM, and just a lot of Mexican gloves in general. They put a big emphasis on the wrist support and giving you that padding to really lock your wrist and your forearm in. You do have ventilated holes on both below the grip bar and above it. Grip bar is large and nice and firm, and ventilated holes right here on the inner part of the thumb, as well as an attached thumb as well. That is in that aqua metallic colorway for the attached thumb. So aesthetically speaking, just a beautiful looking glove. Quality wise, the gloves are very nice. I would say that the only issue I would say with this glove, and that's being really nitpicky, is going to be probably just little areas of stitching that I feel could be kind of improved, like right here, right above the piping, and hopefully I can point it out. There's just a little bit of stitching could have been done a little bit cleaner, but that's me really being nitpicky. Outside of that, I mean, the glove looks amazing. The quality of the metallic and the solid colors looks really good. The welted seams are done nicely. No issues with the actual embroidery on the back of the glove. I have a little bit of a nick right there, and I think that's just from me right here putting this into the closet that I store my gloves in. I think that might have hit like the corner or something. But outside of that, I haven't had any issues with this glove. Mechanically speaking, you know, piping looks good, liner is nice and sharp. No issues with the inside liner opening up and exposing any foam. The single stitching on the back of the cuff looks really good. The double stitching on the palm side looks really clean. The welted seams look really good. The glove is very well balanced, so you know, regardless if you hold the front or the rear of the glove, you can see it doesn't sag and flop over. It's not a floppy glove to where all the weight's towards the front of the glove. And lastly, the big one when it comes to Mexican gloves is weight. These are advertised as a 16-ounce glove. When I put them on the scale, I believe the left glove was at 16.4 and the right glove was at 16.2 ounces. So not much over the advertised weight, which is great to see, especially when it comes to a Mexican glove. So weight's on point, but everything else looks really great with this glove. Again, if I had to be nitpicky, I'd just say probably just a little stitching right there above the piping. Could have been done a little bit cleaner, but outside of that, everything else really looks really good with this glove. Next up, comfort, sliding your hand into the glove. The first thing you notice with the Boxeo TM gloves, with both this and previous models I've reviewed, is just how comfortable that liner is. I really love that nice, smooth, silky liner. You don't feel like you get a lot of excess material that bunches up around this portion of the glove where your fingers sit. So the hand compartment feels really good. Thumb placement is perfect as well, right here. So in terms of the placement of the thumb and the depth of the thumb, that's perfect. I did, however, feel that the piping on here was a little tight. So it's gonna take a little bit more time for me to break this in, but I feel like the piping is a little tight, especially for a 16-ounce glove. So it's gonna take time for me to like loosen that up. I might stuff a t-shirt or something in here to loosen up the piping, but I felt like the piping is a little bit on the tight side. It would have been nice if this piping was extended out a little bit longer so you don't get that pinching feeling down on the fat part of your thumb. So I do feel like that piping is gonna take more time to break in. The wrist support, everything in this area of the glove feels great. No issues there. No problems with that. This portion of the hand compartment as well as the grip bar feels nice and comfortable. And the finger compartment has this nice piece of felt that lines up against, it's almost like a secondary grip bar. Aside from this one, you have a piece of felt here with like a rolled piece of leather. So it allows you to really grip onto that. And initially when I first got these gloves, I felt like the finger compartment was a little bit on the shallow side. But over the time that I've been using these and breaking them in, they actually feel very comfortable and have broken in nicely, so I can get a really good grip with my fingers on the inside of the glove. Protection and performance wise, I'd say that these gloves are perfectly right in the middle. One thing that kind of caught me off guard when I first got these gloves is I was assuming, because they were horsehair, that the padding would be really soft over the knuckle area, and they weren't. The padding on here definitely feels a little bit more dense when you first get them. It takes some time to break these gloves in. But with that being said, once that padding breaks in, it's basically 2 pieces of foam padding with the horsehair sandwiched in between it. So you have foam, horsehair, then foam. So the horsehair is in the middle section of this glove. But the more you use these gloves, the padding really breaks in awesome. And you get both this great sensation of landing your knuckles, but a good amount of shock absorption. So this is the type of padding I feel you can use for everything in the gym, training, hitting the heavy bag, double end bags, hitting the mitts with your coach, sparring with these gloves as well. They're not too soft, nor they're not rock hard either. They're perfectly balanced. And you get that nice pop and that feedback. So I feel like they did a great job of figuring out a way to implement horsehair into this glove without it being too much of a puncher's glove, but also not being too dull in that regard, or being too protective and not being able to feel that feedback. So I feel like they did a great job with this style of padding. You can land your punches real nicely and you just feel really confident, like you're not going to injure your hand, but also very satisfying feeling. You know, you can punch with full power and feel absolutely confident with these gloves, which I love. And that horsehair component really makes a big difference when it comes to that pop and the feedback that you're looking for. Cost-wise, once you convert this to from Mexican pesos to US dollars, these are about 236 US dollars currently. Obviously that can change a little bit just depending on the currency exchange rate at the time. That always fluctuates, but currently these are about 236 US dollars, which I think is a great price. I mean, everything else considered, if you look at a lot of the other Mexican brands out there, even, you know, legendary brands like Reyes has gone up in price. I believe Reyes gloves are about $220, $230 now as well. So all things considered, with the other competition that's out there, I think at the price that you can get these at, especially getting them in these colorways, you're essentially getting kind of like a custom glove, because these are made in small batches. They're not a glove that's just mass produced and they make a million of these in this same colorway in multiple different sizes. So I've said it in other videos and I'll say it again, it's kind of a seasonal glove. Meaning if you see a colorway that you like you see here, you might want to buy it, because once they sell out, they may not release this colorway again in this particular padding style. Or if you want this color, you might have to just order it custom from Boxeo TM. And then you have to wait for it because they have to make them custom. So, you know, I tell people all the time, if you see something you like on that website and they have it in the size that you want and the type of closure, you might as well pull the trigger, because if they sell out, again, you might not get that same colorway for a long time, if ever, unless you go custom. But overall, I think it's a great glove for the price. Again, very satisfied with my purchase from Boxeo TM. They've always come through. Hopefully the next video I make will actually be me comparing this glove with the Bayonetta PULHH gloves and the other Bayonetta layered foam, or I believe it's the Bayonetta, the layered foam ones that have a little bit of horsehair in them. I can't remember, but a lot of you guys have been asking for that, so that'll probably be one of my next videos where I compare these gloves and give you guys my opinion on the differences between them. But so far, very satisfied with these. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Boxeo TM, Torres Medina, HHF boxing gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.